Hi, Shannon DeConda here with NamUs, and today I'm here to talk to you about validation audits. Now that may be something that you've heard before, may not. Maybe you haven't heard of the term validation audits, and maybe you're thinking, is this an audit we're missing? Is it something we should be doing? Turns out you may be performing these and just not calling them validation audits. So what we consider as a validation audit is when we are doing a review of services that have already been documented and coded, maybe by the physician themselves, and we're doing 100% review on those services prior to the claim being submitted to the insurance company. Now, why is this done? A lot of times this is done to ensure the accuracy of the documentation and coding prior to claim submission. A lot of times our physicians are trained to be able to select their own code, and that's great when we can have that done and we're not having to have another overhead expense. But let's just face it, physicians have their areas of expertise and we have our areas of expertise. And ours, of course, is ensuring compliance, ensuring proper coding, as well as proper documentation. So validation audits can be key in ensuring those compliance measures are met. And in many ways, you've already audited the claim, so you already have a built-in audit review process for those services. A lot of organizations do E&M services, others only do surgical services. Our recommendation is if you're doing post-audit reviews on your E&Ms, then maybe not doing validation audits would be in your best interest for E&M for overhead purposes, I should say. So that's a consideration there. But when it comes to surgeries, while our physicians are great at assigning our code selection, a lot of times the reason validation audits are crucial there are modifiers. So a lot of times it's very difficult to ensure our providers can perform a surgery, document the surgery, and then get the modifiers right too. So validation audits can be useful, but one thing I want to encourage you on is having our providers document, select their codes on E&Ms, and then having 100% QA validation audit on every single E&M encounter can weigh down your budget. So again, this is a good idea to convert these from validation reviews to post or retrospective audits. And just look at samples instead of 100% of your selection. Now, one more thing, validation audits can be very useful when employing new physicians or when onboarding residents, people that are just coming out of residency into your practice. Doing validation audits for also those physicians who may not have done well on their audits, on their compliance audit reviews, and we're needing to make sure that they're hitting the mark on documentation and coding. Again, validation audits can certainly be instrumental there. So the takeaway here is validation audits do have their place. However, 100% validation audits can be overwhelming for not only your budget, but your internal process as well. So if you have any questions about validation audits, the difference in the different types of audits and when they're useful, I'm always around to help with those questions. Post your comments here, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.